Gotcha.
So when it happens, and then that man, on top of everything else, lives a perfect life.
So again, you're avoiding the question.
That's not, I'm not avoiding the question.
Bro.
This is the logic of Christianity. This is how it
That's
works.
the problem.
Well, you think it's a problem, but you've yet to demonstrate it. You beg the question, but you haven't answered it.
Look, it's a very simple question, bro. And you're going all around it, right? The thing is, you know, and I know, that, and David knows as well.
Do a Jedi mind trick now?
No, you don't see me here, right?
So, you know,
and let's be honest, right?
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, right? If some dude walks up right now and tells you that, you're going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about, right? You're going to tell him God doesn't come and get married to your mom. You're just making this stuff up, right? This is something that is not in scripture. You would go into your whole thing, but you would not believe that because you know that's not the nature of God to be getting a wife here and a wife there and having kids here and half there. God is above all of that, right? Okay, excellent. The Quran is Kalamullah, okay? What?
You told us that part.
I know, that's part of the explanation.
Okay,
Take it easy, Anthony. Okay. The Quran that is read by us, right? Meaning we read the Quran. That Kalamullah will be a evidence for us. Do you understand what that means? That the fact that we stayed up at nights and read the Quran will make shifa. It will be an intercession. It will not be asking Allah for help or asking Allah separately than anything. It is only the fact that that good deed will be an intercession for you. Like if you had read the actual hadith, it talks about the Quran and another hadith about the siyam, the fasting. Right? We don't say fasting by itself is an entity, but it's the deed that is that intercedes for you.
So does the hadith say that the deed of reciting the Quran will intercede for you, or does the hadith say the Quran will intercede?
Again, so this is the thing. When you say Al-Quran was Siyam, these two will be shifa. They will be an intercession, right? So what does that mean? That it is that deed of reading the Quran. Do you understand what that means now?
Well, I understand what you're claiming.
Okay.
That's just not what.
So let's see the.
I searched for it. The first one that popped up. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first. I know it's in Tirmidhi, but the first one that popped up was in Ibn Majah.
So in Tirmidhi, there is no such hadith that says the Quran will be a pale man.
That's just the first one that popped up.
Okay, so can we look at the Tirmidhi one first?
Okay, I'll find
I just want to see.
Notice the Ibn Majah version says the Quran will come on the day of resurrection like a pale man, and will say, "I am the one that kept you awake at night and made you thirsty during the day."
Excellent, excellent. So let's now go to. Hold on, take it easy, guy.
I was trying to. Oh, you're trying to see that.
No, take it easy. This is why.
You're not seriously going to go to Google Translate, are you?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I know you know
You're
Arabic.
funny.
I
You're
know
funny.
you know Arabic.
You don't have Arabic keyboard?
No.
Okay. I was just going to show you the takhrij. You know what takhrij is? Okay. The checking of the narration.
Okay.
This narration of Ibn Majah is a very weak narration.
They didn't grade it this week.
Can you show me their grading?
Yeah, it's in Hassan.
Let me see it. Go, just hit back.
It's in Arabic now.
You just ruined his phone. You can't see anything.
Oh, he'll see it. Where does it say Hassan? No, this is Darus Salam's grading, right? So this is not sunnah.com, just a website. Okay? So
Darus Salam.
Darus Salam is a publishing house, right? But that's not the grading
They
of.
give the rating according to Hadith scholars, right? They're not just making it up.
No. So we need to. I know this hadith, and that's why I was telling you, right? And I can show you the weakness in it if you like. Darus Salam is a publishing house, not a scholar itself, right? Their grading by itself is not a hujjah, it's not an evidence. You have to look at the evidence from the scholars of hadith. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I asked you, right? Now, if you like, and if you, how long are you in San Diego? Let me just finish. How long are you in San Diego?
We're leaving tonight.
Oh, no. I was going to invite you to my house. I have Ibn Majah.
I appreciate the fact that you would have invited.
You got dinner, you got tea, I got you. All right? And I would sit with you and explain to you from the sharh of Ibn Majah why this hadith is da'if actually. Because I teach Aqidah and I taught this subject. Okay? In the authentic narration, and again, this is not in a Tirmidhi, by the way, anyway. Let me see the Tirmidhi riwayah you had, right? You said you had a Tirmidhi riwayah?
So I
have to search for it.
I'll wait for it. In the authentic narration, it does not mention the pale man. That's why I was trying to explain to you. Rather, the Quran and its shifa is from the one who stayed up at night. So the shifa is the Quran asking intercession from the deed of you staying up nights. Do you understand the understanding there, right?
Yeah, right there.
Now, when you look at Jesus calling out on the cross according to the Bible that you believe in, right? Saying, oh my God, why have you forsaken me? That is not about a deed that you did. That is one entity calling out to another entities for help and asking, why have you forsaken me? Is that correct or wrong?
So that you know, I'm not saying I have any problem with that. I absolutely affirm that.
So you
the second
affirm
person of the Trinity took on a human nature.
So he was no longer God.
No, he was both God and man, and by virtue of the incarnation, was able to call out to the Father as God.
Okay, so I want to understand that.
I wasn't trying to like give an apology.
Okay, so I want to understand. Okay, so let me understand what you affirm. You're saying Jesus came to earth and became a man.
Absolutely.
So was he that all-powerful, all-being, has no needs God at that time or not?
He was both God and man.
Again, that's like a square circle,
you
right?
Can say that's like
because
a square
because God has no needs, right?
As his divine nature. So think of it this way. I mean, it's not that hard, really.
It is hard because it's confusing. It's like a square circle.
You're asserting that it is. But
to me, it is.
There hasn't been a demonstration of that. What I'm getting at is as God. So if he his human attributes and qualities are most definitely character. He's in one place at one time. He gets hungry. He slept. He wept. He died.
Did he go to the bathroom?
He absolutely did.
God went to the bathroom.
Yeah. God became flesh
and went to the bathroom.
Dwelt among us. And
did he get diarrhea?
Secured self. He died on the cross. What more do you want?
That's pretty.
What more do you want than that? Huh?
You are Muslim, aren't you? This is a secret, right?
He
got tortured. Yeah.
Absolutely.
God got tortured.
Plucked out. His back was whipped.
Gotcha.
Huh? Yeah.
And he cried out to who?
He cried out to his Father.
But he didn't say Father. He said God.
But
he said my God. But he is God.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense now.
Again,
that doesn't make sense.
We already talked about that earlier.
And it didn't make sense earlier. But let me.
Well, then it doesn't make sense to say Allah has sifat.
Of course it does.
No.
Allah's sifat are a part of Him.
Allah's part of the Father.
But Allah's sifat don't separate. Allah's sifat don't need to go to the bathroom.
Allah's sifat.
Go ahead.
You believe that the Quran is the instantiation in some sense?
I just told you earlier.
No, I heard what you said.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No Muslim says that this right in your hand is a part of Allah.
Well, first of all, that's not even an Arabic.
Exactly. So for you to lift this up doesn't make any sense, right?
But you knew what I meant.
I do.
This represents that.
And I will tell you, as I told David, when you didn't listen, I guess, but I'll say it again. You guys want to be? All right.
No, I'm listening to you, but I'm also finding what you wanted because I can get it really quickly.
Okay. So now the issue gets to be the sifat of Allah are a part of Allah. Even if Allah reveals, you understand the difference between revealing and becoming separate, right? The sifat of Allah never have weaknesses. You can burn the written copy because that's not the Quran. The Quran is what is recited. It cannot be corrupted. Somebody can make a mistake in their reading, but their reading is not the sifat of Allah. Now Jesus saying my God
Jesus' human nature is not part of his divine essence.
Okay, so that's the confusing part here because you're saying that the soul is a part of me. Without the soul I can't exist. Right?
You are your soul.
You are thank you. So if you are your soul and then Jesus is his soul and you're saying that's God. So for God to be now saying my God makes that doesn't make sense.
No. But you've misunderstood me.
Okay.
Christ has both a human soul and a human body, and his divine nature. Man is
so
both
Christ
body and soul.
is three things now.
No, well, this is classic Christianity.
This is excellent.
If you're just learning this,
I'm just learning it from you because you're such a good explainer.
This is classic Chalcedonian. You've
Excellent.
Chalcedon, right?
I have.
Chalcedon was a Christian creed, 451. The classic Chalcedonian statement is just like man is body and soul, God and man is one Christ.
Okay, so, let me just ask that. Let me just ask, because I want to understand that.
Okay.
Let me just okay. So Christ, according to you, he was human. He had a soul.
Real body and soul. Human.
And he was God. That's three things in Christ.
So he has all the attributes of humanity, body and soul, and he has a divine nature.
So that's what I just said, right?
So human nature and divine nature.
So he has a soul.
Absolutely.
When was his soul created?
So again, the soul of Christ,
Anthony.
It's human.
Okay,
right?
So when was his human soul created?
Christ became man when he became incarnate.
So the soul, it's a very simple question. It's okay. Nobody else got it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
When was his soul created? The soul of Christ.
I'm saying that the humanity of Christ, body and soul,
Yes.
starts at the point of conception, the virgin birth.
Okay. Can you give me any reference to the Bible about when the soul of Jesus was created, as you just gave that answer, but about the soul?
So the Bible teaches that man's soul is formed along with his body. It's formed within him.
Okay,
So
man's.
Psalm 139,
Okay.
among others, talks about the fact that God knits people together in their mother's womb. This is, from the Christian perspective, the time when man himself comes into existence.
So Jesus came into existence as a man.
It's human.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
human
so,
nature.
so Jesus' soul.
Zechariah 12:10 also makes, or 12:1.
Those are not about Jesus, right? Those are general.
Those are about
Human
you
beings.
asked about souls and bodies.
I asked you about Jesus' soul
Right.
particularly.
So, just like you reasoned earlier,
Okay.
from the general to the particular,
I'm with you.
all I'm saying is,
So you're saying the general rules about humanity are why you're taking the fact in your mind
Because in
that
this
Jesus' soul came in. So Jesus had
Because-
no soul until he was in the womb of Mary.
he had no human soul until he was in
Gotcha.
the womb of
And when he came in the womb of Mary, his soul came into creation.
So yeah, his body and soul originate at that
Gotcha.
time.
And his body.
And
And
his
when he
body.
died, according to you on the cross, where did his soul go?
His body died, his soul remained united to his divine nature,
Okay.
and he ascended into heaven.
So before that time, there was no soul, but there was Jesus.
Before
and
what
then
time?
before Jesus was born,
Yeah,
he had no soul.
right.
So then God increased the soul of Jesus later. That's what you just said.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, let me repeat it again.
That's not
you,
all what I
let me say what I said, and you can correct me. Anthony, we got this. Okay.
Just did.
So
You got
you,
the laugh track over here. It wasn't even what I said.
people laugh. It's okay. So
but it wasn't good.
now, when you, okay, so then Jesus was born with a human soul and a human body and a godly nature, 3 components. Then he goes on a cross and he dies, and his body dies. His soul now, that was newly created, now becomes a part of God.
No.
No?
That's not
That's
even close to
exactly what you said. Well, okay, tell me
not
what you said
exactly
then.
what I
Tell me
said.
what you said
And
then.
just like you said to me earlier, not putting words in your mouth.
I'm not. I
Now you
really.
accept from me, I didn't say anything like that. Right?
I got it. You guys got it on video, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
We got it on video.
Good. Say,
Yeah.
Tell me again.
What I told you, you
Okay.
said his soul increased, and I never said anything along those lines either.
Okay, so there was no soul before Jesus was in the womb of Mary, right?
Right.
Okay. So Jesus came in the womb. God created a new soul
Yeah.
for Jesus.
Yeah, we don't
Became
think
a part of
maybe
Jesus.
we have a different conception of what the soul is.
It's okay. Let's just keep going. Soul, body,
Soul and
connected.
body.
Okay. He came out on earth. You're with me, Anthony?
Yes.
Okay. He goes to the cross. He gets killed, according to you.
Everything's
Now his soul and body separates. His soul that was not a part of the God union before, was not a part of Jesus before, where does that soul go?
it remains his soul.
And where does he go?
He goes back to the Father.
So the Father now has an increased soul. You said it, and you said it again,
See, that has
and now
nothing-
you're denying
wait a
it.
minute, wait a minute,
All right,
wait a
Anthony.
minute.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. When you say you believe that Allah raised Jesus to himself, you believe that eventually someday you guys are all going to go, somebody's going to Jannah, right? Somebody's going to heaven.
Every Muslim,
Are
Allah
you
make
going
us.
to say they're added to Allah, like they're some part of his nature?
We do not believe.
Because I don't believe that either.
let me respond. We do not believe we in Jannah are a part of Allah.
And neither do I.
But you said no. But you said Jesus is a
think
part of God.
No.
We're talking about
yeah.
Jesus' soul.
I said.
You got
no.
God, bro. It's over. It's over. Thank you.
You've been asserting
It's
and
over,
begging the
man.
question the whole
Look,
time.
it's over. It's
You've
over.
been-
Thank
you've
you.
been asserting. Hold
Thank
on.
you.
Hold
It's
on.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you can get.
Thank you.
We'll bring Sam in here in just a second. But we need to be clear here. I never said that Christ's soul becomes part of the deity. That was your claim. That was your claim. You're laughing,
I'm glad this is
right?
recorded.
Oh, I'm so glad because I'm going to show.
Okay,
this
so where does
man
that
in
soul go?
Simple English. or
Where does the soul
Christian
go?
theology. What does it have to do with where does the soul go?
Jesus' soul, where does it go?
Do you think if somebody's soul goes to heaven, it becomes part of God?
No.
Well, neither do I.
But you said Jesus' soul connected with him. It doesn't separate
I-
and goes back to being a part of God.
But listen.
Come on, you guys
I
gotta
did
see
not
this.
say that
Come
it goes back
on.
to being part of God. You said that, and then you had your laugh track, and then you turned and handed to the camera.
Where does the
What
soul?
I
Where
told
does
you-
Jesus' soul go?
Okay, now let's be clear. Your assumption is if his soul goes up to heaven, then somehow it becomes
Where
part
does
of the deity.
Jesus' soul go?
Jesus' soul remains forever united to his divine nature.
Okay, and where does his divine nature? Is he back being a part of God?
What do you mean back to being part of God? He never
Wait,
ceased being part of God.
But he was human here, right?
As to his divine nature, he's always God.
Okay.
He never ceases to be God.
So then when he got a
When he
soul
takes
attached
on
to him,
himself a human nature, which includes
Yes.
a human soul,
right?
at his death he doesn't cease.
Okay, so that soul is now a part of his divine nature of
No,
Jesus, a part of.
it's-
Oh yeah, Allah.
That soul remains united in his person.
Yes.
It's his soul,
So
but
God-
it's not his divine nature.
So it's a part of him.
That's your disc job.
Is it a part of God or not?
It is his. He has a
can't
divine
answer.
nature and a human nature.
Is that soul, because his human body is dead, so his human soul, is it a part of God or not?
It is not a part of his divine nature.
It's
That's
not
what
a part
I'm
of
telling
God or not?
you. It's not part of his divine nature.
So Jesus' soul is not a part of God.
It's not part of his divine nature. Do you
It's a very
understand the
simple
deep-
question.
It's a very simple answer.
Is it a part of God or yes or no?
It's a very simple answer. His soul is his human nature, not his divine nature. Jesus, that person, has two natures, divine and human. You keep wanting to conflate the two.
So-
Christian theology has always said that's not true. And
So
you're
when-
just learning for
when
the first
Jesus
time,
died-
after doing Da'if for
not the
so
first time.
long,
It's not the
for the
first time.
first time, you're just
Listen,
now learning that's
listen.
not Christian theology.
Anthony.
We got it on film.
Anthony,
You said it.
Anthony.
You
This
said
is
it.
the first time, as I said, that the way you're explaining it, right? Because other Christians explain it differently. But let
Well,
me
I'm telling you
let me
Orthodox
tell you.
Chalcedonian
Okay, let me
Christology.
tell you this. The question you're not answering, that soul that got created, is that a part of God? Yes or no?
Not in the sense you're asking.
Okay, thank you. So
Right.
the soul of Jesus is not a part of God.
In the
Got
sense
it.
that you're asking,
Thank
you're
you.
assuming it's part of his divine nature.
Okay,
I'm
so
telling
you're saying Jesus' soul, his human body's dead, but his soul is not a part of God. Thank you. I got it.
Absolutely. I
Okay,
mean,
even
that's
after he died.
That's just classic Christianity.
Even after he died.
Welcome to Christianity
Okay.
101.
So Jesus' soul is in heaven?
Yes.
So Jesus will be God and his soul will be in heaven.
Why are you doing this?
Because
Just
God,
YMCA?
I mean, you hope you will be in heaven, right?
Yeah, and I'm not
But you're
going
not
to be God.
But your
On
soul
assumption,
is separate,
if his
right?
soul's in heaven, then it's part of God.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
never
did.
said that.
That's the
I
assumption.
never said
That's
that.
the assumption
I
of
did
your
not
argument.
make that assumption.
That is your assumption.
This is a flat
That is your
mistruth,
assumption.
I'll say it, right?
And if that's
That
not
is
your
not.
assumption, then
My,
your
let me
argument
let
doesn't
me
follow.
let me explain it to you again. Okay, let me explain my assumptions, okay?
Okay.
Let me explain what you said Jesus did not have a soul before the
Prior to
womb
the
of Mary.
incarnation.
Let me speak now, right? Jesus comes to the womb of Mary. God creates a body for Jesus and a soul for Jesus. Now Jesus is a body, a soul, and a divine nature, according to you. Then he lives in life, and he lives with those three components. Now at the cross, according to you, his body dies, right? And his soul and his divine nature go back to being a part of God. So now,
Notice the conjunction, soul and divine nature.
that's
Go
what
ahead.
I said.
Okay.
Yeah,
Notice
go
the
back to
conjunction.
being a part of God.
No, I didn't say that. That's where you keep
Okay,
making the false turn.
so where does the soul go?
You're confusing location with ontology.
Okay.
You seem to think that Christ's location means some fundamental
so
change in his ontology.
Christ on
That's
earth,
just a complete category
Christ
mistake.
on earth
That's
was God walking
incredibly
around,
irrational.
right?
This whole time in this argument, you've been saying that you object to the incarnation because it's irrational, and now you're being as
It is.
irrational as possible.
I'm not.
You keep making a false turn that rests on the false assumption that if Jesus goes to the Father, then something about his ontology changes. That's just utterly fallacious.
Okay,
That's just utterly fallacious.
When
Even
Jesus
if you
was
show your
walking
teeth.
around on
Even if
earth,
you show your teeth,
when Jesus was walking around,
Uh-huh.
was he God himself?
he was both God and man.
Okay, so as God, he was walking on earth
Absolutely.
in a human form
With a human body, absolutely.
and a human soul,
And a human soul.
and that changed
What changed?
when he died on the cross.
His body died and went to the
Excellent.
dust. His soul remained his soul, but
Okay.
never his divine nature. It's
so-
still not his part of his
So
divine
his
nature.
soul then,
Never becomes part of his
okay,
divine nature.
so his soul will never be a part of God.
It'll never be a part of his divine nature. Christ is
Okay,
one
all right,
person.
I got you.
Yeah, he's-
Thank you,
He's
I get
a
it.
divine
Okay.
person. He has
I,
two natures.
I understand your answer.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't agree with it.
Well, okay, well, I don't
But
expect
that's-
you to agree
that's
at this
my-
point.
okay,
but I'm
sure.
saying you understand what it is now. though.
David, do you have the same?
You understand.
Do you agree that the soul of Christ is not a part of God?
it's not a part of his divine nature?
You believe that? David would.
That's basic Christianity. I mean,
Oh, I mean, many Christians here, preachers and pastors, have said the soul of Christ is a part of God, right?
Well,
but you're saying it's not. Okay, I understand.
see, I don't know how
You're
they
saying
made
the
it.
soul of Christ was created, and when Christ died, his soul does not become God.
absolutely not.
Okay, his soul is in heaven.
So let me just say this then. I can't speak for other Christians,
Okay.
right? In this sense, the people you
Got
talk to, right? I'm not going to say you're misrepresenting them. There are
You can talk to them.
possibilities, right? No. But I'm saying they might be speaking less than precisely,
Okay.
or you might be misunderstanding them.
Okay.
I can tell you this, even with all the laugh tracks going on, I can tell you this: historic, classic Christianity, in terms of its official formal creeds and confessions, teaches exactly what I just told you.
Okay.
Right? The Chalcedonian Creed, which is historic Christianity in its affirmation of the natures of Christ, has always affirmed that Christ had a fully human nature.
Okay.
And those two natures forever are distinct. His human nature could never be his
Interesting.
divine nature.
So the soul of Christ is not a part of God.
It's not a part of his divine essence, his
Okay.
nature, right? And this goes back to a fundamental distinction of Christianity that I think we agree on. And you would hold it as a Muslim, not as I'm not saying you hold this, the creator-creature distinction. There's an absolute distinction
Yes.
between the two.
Yes.
And so as Christians, as Christians, we affirm that distinction, and we don't believe the incarnation ever blurs that distinction.
But we believe Jesus was a creation. Wa alaikum salam.
Well, you believe he only was a human being.
He was a creation.
Yeah, and
But
we
you believe he was a creation and the creator.
We believe that he was the
That's not-
creator who took upon himself a human nature.
So again, that means you mixed the two.
which never become mixed. Again, if you read the Chalcedonian Creed, it says without admixture, without
Okay.
intermixing.
So
So classic Christianity
Gotcha.
has always said those two natures remain distinct. They're
Okay.
both natures of the divine word. They belong to the word, but they never become the other. His divine nature forever remains divine. His human nature forever remains human.
but his human nature started at the womb of Mary,
Yes, because it's human.
right? And his body died,
And his body
and his
died.
soul will live but never be a part of God.
It'll always be united in his one person. It'll never be his divine nature.
In the one person with the Father,
Yeah.
so soul then is now united with the Father.
The Son who is always one with the Father.
Okay,
There's no change to the divine nature.
there is, because you just added a soul to it.
No.
See, it's united with it, right?
You don't even
Is the
understand.
soul united with Jesus forever or not?
It's hypostatically. It's not ontologically.
Hypostatically, wow.
They don't become fused. I think you're thinking in terms of.
That's what it sounds
there's
like,
some
right?
tangible substance called deity.
No,
and there's this
no.
other tangible stuff,
Right.
and they get glued or something.
Let me just
That's
explain.
not what
Okay,
I'm
so
saying.
this is when your idea of God, right? There are three components, right?
What do you mean by what components are you referring to here?
Father, the Son,
Okay.
and the Holy Ghost.
I wasn't sure if you were still talking about Christ, divine nature, human nature.
Well, that is Christ. It's one of the three, right?
Yeah, up here, yeah. But
Yeah,
I
up
didn't
here.
know what
Okay, I
three
got you.
components you're talking about here.
I get you. I know what you. I like to be clear. So what I'm talking about is God, in your understanding, has three distinct components that come together as one: the Father, no. Okay.
That would be like us saying you believe that Allah has these components, his face and his shin and so on, that comes together as Allah.
It wouldn't, because it wouldn't. Let me explain why not.
No, but we
because
don't believe
Allah's yad, for example, doesn't detach and come walk around on earth.
But we don't think
Right?
Christ detached.
Okay,
That's just not our view.
you do say that God took on human form.
Yeah, human nature.
Okay, so
We also believe that God is everywhere, so there's no
It's
detachment.
not like
Okay.
when I say took on, that's metaphorical. I don't mean.
if God is
somehow
everywhere,
his
then what's the
deity-
difference between you and Jesus? You're both God then.
No.
God is everywhere, so God's in you, right?
See, why do basic terms break down like that with you? You move
Because
from saying
you don't
God
make
is
sense.
everywhere to saying God is everything. Those are two different terms.
So that's the thing. Jesus was God, you're saying, not present at Jesus. So that's why you're trying to confuse the issue,
No.
because there's a distinction. You're saying.
I'm making the distinction. You're
Okay,
not.
I am. Let
No,
me
you're
explain
not.
it. So when you say God is everywhere,
Yep.
you don't mean he's everywhere in the sense that Jesus was here.
Oh,
Right?
In the sense that Jesus as incarnate.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is
incarnate
that's your breakdown.
in-
Okay, so let's
incarnate, there's a
take
distinction.
it back to that. So when Jesus was walking around, it is different from God just being everywhere according to you.
Because there's a hypostatic. You know what the term
Thank you.
hypostatic
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
When you add,
There's
go
a
ahead.
hypostatic union. Hypostatic pertains to
Excellent.
the person.
So that
The
means
person of the Son is not a physical, tangible thing. He can be present without taking up any space. Right? We're
excellent.
not saying he
but
occupies space.
But right now, this here, us walking around, according to you, God is everywhere in a
Upholding
sense.
everything.
Excellent, got you. But when Jesus is walking around, now this is different than just saying God is everywhere, because you're saying,
absolutely.
thank you. Okay, so when Jesus came to earth, not that he was already everywhere like that, you can't just go on a loop,
He is always everywhere.
but there's a difference, right, of Jesus coming physically, right?
Yeah. He's incarnate in the womb. Though.
Yes or no?
That flesh doesn't come from heaven.
Thank you. But that connection is
Starts
from
in the
heaven.
womb. Starts in the womb.
Excellent. So now, when Jesus, according to you, was walking around, he was God walking around, right?
God
In the human form.
and man. He is both God and man.
Got it.
walking around. Yes.
Got it. So
person,
that is different.
That person.
Excellent. So that is different than right now when you could say God is everywhere, but he's not walking around as a person, right?
Yeah, but the fact that he's everywhere makes that sort of thing possible.
Okay.
Right.
But again, like you said, it is not the same as him just being everywhere regularly, right?
Of course not.
Okay, thank you. So when
That would
God,
destroy the uniqueness of the incarnation.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. When I was saying that, you were like, well, he's everywhere anyway.
No.
Like, well, then that doesn't make sense. So let's go back to that. He's in the womb, and now a soul is created that was not there before, right?
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to figure out why we're back here again.
Because
Why we established
you went in a loop. That's why.
No,
I'm
you
bringing-
went on a loop.
Okay, so let's go back. Okay, that soul gets connected now to God, the Jesus, right?
Jesus is
Now-
a divine person with a divine nature.
Now has a soul connected to him.
Now this human nature is brought into union with his divine
Thank you.
through his one person.
Thank you.
It becomes the nature of that person.
Now the body will die,
yeah,
but now that soul will remain fused,
but
right?
I
That's
know
what you're
mean by
saying?
fused, though. But well, I'm saying it's still his nature.
Okay.
It's still his. That
Okay.
soul is his soul.
Okay, but it's not a
fused,
part of God.
It's not a part of his divine nature.
Gotcha.
They're always
But
distinct.
something new got connected to God, right?
But what do you mean by connected? You're acting like these are Legos.
What do you mean? No. You're telling me they're like Legos, right?
No, I'm
God
telling you
came
they're
in and you
not.
plugged the human body and you plugged the
telling you
soul,
they're not.
and then the human body
that's-
falls off and the soul
And
connects, right?
why,
That's
why
what you're
shooting
saying.
randomly and hitting air.
All right. Well, it's nice talking to you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you.